Every parent of a kid with ADHD knows this is true. They can play video games for 5 hours straight, but can't focus on a math worksheet for 5 minutes. Everyone tells us the answer is medication or therapy. But did you know that stuff often doesn't even help their school grades? I found an 8-week scientific experiment that used video game magic to actually make them smarter in school. And the results will literally change how you see your kid's tablet forever. For decades, the only treatments for ADHD were stimulants and therapy. And while they make kids behave better, here's the crazy part. Their grades almost never actually improve in the long run. So parents are left with calmer kids who are still falling behind in school. The problem is that normal digital learning apps, which are just boring worksheets on a screen, are useless for the ADHD brain. This is why a recent 8-week study is so insane. Researchers took 80 kids with ADHD and split them into 2 teams. One used a boring digital learning app. The other used the exact same content, but in a video game. This wasn't just some dumb comparison. It was a real-deal scientific experiment made to find out what actually works. For 8 weeks, 80 kids with ADHD used one of 2 apps. The first group got a boring digital workbook. The second group got the same schoolwork, but it was supercharged with rewards and levels, like a real video game. This isn't just about fun. It's about making their brains faster. Researchers measured how fast these kids' brains reacted to stuff, a key way to see how focused they are. And the video game group started destroying the other group. And here's where it gets completely insane. The researchers measured their school scores before and after the 8 weeks. For the group playing the video game, math scores shot up from an average of 46 to 71. And reading and writing also had huge double-digit gains. The plot twist? The group using the boring app barely improved at all. This proved it's not what you learn, but how you learn it that matters. And then they did a stability test. Even 8 weeks after the kids stopped playing, their scores stayed high. This wasn't just a temporary trick. It was a literal brain upgrade. So, what makes a video game app actually work? It's just a few key things that create the perfect environment for an ADHD brain. First is adaptive difficulty. The study showed that the app dynamically adjusted in difficulty according to the child's performance. This is how you keep a kid in the perfect flow state, that sweet spot between bored and frustrated. For an ADHD brain, this is everything. If it's too easy, they get distracted. If it's too hard, they quit. This app was like a perfect coach, always giving them a problem that was just hard enough to be fun, but not so hard they rage quit. Instead of failing, the kid feels like they're constantly winning, which is super motivating. It basically customizes the game in real time to make sure the kid is always crushing it. Second is immediate, meaningful feedback. The study used immediate feedback and rewards because that's exactly what the ADHD brain craves. Their brain is wired for instant gratification. Waiting until Friday to get a good grade on a test is way too slow to be motivating. But a video game app gives you a constant stream of feedback, points, sounds, stars, that lights up the brain's reward system right now. This constant drip of dopamine makes learning feel good. It's not about getting the answer right. It's about the satisfying cha-ching sound you get. This turns a boring task into a super addictive and rewarding loop. The kid isn't working for some far-off goal. They're working for the next tiny win. Third, the study used short, clearly bounded tasks. The researchers used level-based challenges to chop up overwhelming work into small, easy-to-beat chunks. To a kid with ADHD, a giant worksheet looks impossible. so they don't even start. But a bunch of short levels just feels like a series of small wins. Every time they beat a level, they get a clear victory, which builds their confidence and makes them want to keep going. This gives them the clarity they need. There's a start and an end to every task, so it never feels like a never-ending nightmare. This design knows that focus runs out, and it's better to go hard for short bursts and then get a reward. This feeling of constant progress is what keeps them pushing forward. Fourth is built-in attention scaffolding. The winning app in the study used multisensory stimuli such as visuals, sounds, and interactivity, not just to look cool, but to literally build guardrails for their attention. For a kid who gets distracted by everything, these flashy elements keep pulling their focus back to the game. Being interactive means the kid has to actually do stuff, not just watch, which is huge for keeping them locked in. The sounds and visuals aren't random. They're designed to show you what's important and confirm you're doing it right. This external system basically does all the hard work of staying focused for them, so their brain power can be spent on actually learning, not fighting to pay attention. And finally, self-paced progression. The app's level-based progression let kids move forward whenever they were ready, which gives them a huge sense of control. This is the exact opposite of a classroom, where kids feel rushed or bored because they're stuck at the group's pace. Letting a kid master a skill before they move on, or retry a level with no penalty, builds real confidence and makes them less afraid to fail. But the study did something smart. They paired this freedom with parental supervision to make sure the kids actually did their work every day. It's the perfect balance. The kid is the captain of their own ship, but the parent is there to make sure the ship actually leaves the dock. So how can you actually use this? The study gives us the ultimate cheat code with 6 key things you have to know. First, prioritize academic content over general cognitive training. Listen up. Those popular brain training games that say they improve memory don't actually improve school grades. They might make you better at the game, but it doesn't show up on the report card. To see real improvement, the game has to be about their actual school subjects, like math and reading. This study is massive because it proved that when you wrap schoolwork inside a video game, kids get huge, measurable gains in those exact subjects. We're talking crazy jumps in reading, writing, and math. So forget the abstract puzzle games. The cheat code is to find something that makes learning fractions feel like leveling up in a video game. Second, digital delivery alone is not enough. Just putting a worksheet on an iPad does not work. This study proved it by putting 2 apps side by side. One group got a boring digital workbook. The other got the same stuff in a game. The results were night and day. The kids with the boring app barely improved. This proves the magic is not the screen, it's the game. The secret is the game mechanics, instant feedback, tons of rewards, and a clear level-up system. That's what gets insane results for the ADHD brain. So don't just get a digital textbook. You have to find an app that uses these specific tricks to make learning feel good in the moment. That's what makes all the difference. Third, bridge the academic gap left by medication. This can literally fill the gap that normal ADHD treatments leave behind. Research shows a huge weakness in the go-to strategies. Medication makes kids behave better, but their long-term grades are surprisingly weak. So you have a calmer kid who is still failing. This study shows that gamified learning is the perfect add-on, something specifically designed to fix the problem that other treatments miss. Think of it this way. Medication helps them sit still at their desk, but the game gives them the motivation to actually do the work. It's a direct attack on the report card itself. Fourth, look for dynamic difficulty adjustment. The best tools use what's called dynamic difficulty adjustment. The winning app in the study was so good because it changed how hard the game was in real time, based on how the kid was playing. This is the key to keeping them in the flow state. Flow is that perfect zone between this is too easy and I'm bored and this is too hard and I quit. For the ADHD brain, staying in this state is everything. By constantly changing the challenge, the app is like a personal coach, always giving you a problem that's just hard enough to be fun, but not so hard it feels impossible. This stops homework meltdowns and turns learning into a fun climb, where the kid feels like they're constantly winning. Fifth, aim for stability and maintenance of gains. You don't want a temporary boost. You want a permanent change. A lot of things only work for a little while, but this study went even further. It found that the school and attention boosts from the game were still there at least 8 weeks after the kids stopped playing. This is huge. It means the game didn't just entertain them, it actually led to real changes in their brain. The proof was in their reaction times, which stayed super sharp even when they weren't playing. This is how you know it's a real brain upgrade, not a gimmick. You want a tool that doesn't just help your kid focus while they're using it. You want a tool that teaches their brain how to focus better all the time. Finally, the sixth and most scientific cheat code is focus on attentional efficiency. The scientists didn't just look at grades. They measured how fast and consistently kids reacted to things they saw and heard. Making this reaction time faster is a huge sign that a kid is getting better at controlling their own focus. When their reaction time gets faster and more consistent, it means their brain is getting better at ignoring distractions and locking onto a target. They basically become immune to all the little things that would normally pull their attention away. So when you look at a tool, see if it talks about improving stuff like this. Better grades are what you want, but a faster reaction time is the proof that the brain itself is getting more organized, more focused, and more powerful. It's the engine that drives the grades. ADHD isn't a lack of intelligence. It's a challenge to stay engaged. For the first time, we have stone-cold proof from a massive experiment that if we change how we teach, these kids don't just survive, they absolutely crush it. It's time to stop fighting the tablet and start using it as a weapon to destroy the academic gap. Check the description for the link to the full research paper. Share this with one parent who is sick of the homework battle.